Hi, I'm Dr. Ira Lake. Welcome to Positive Vibes, a weekly YouTube broadcast designed to strengthen and encourage the viewing audience and helping them to build a better life for themselves. Today, I want to talk about how to develop a positive image. As a therapist, I get a lot of people who come to me who are upset with the direction their life has taken. They ask me things like, how can I better myself? How can I maximize my potential? How can I reach my full potential? And one of the first things I tell them is, you must change the image you have of yourself from the inside out. You see, each of us has a picture of ourselves in our imagination. Now, the brain can only focus on one thing at a time. I know people talk all the time about being able to multitask, but the brain does not multitask. It only focuses on what you choose to focus on right then, right there. And so if you are thinking negatively, and someone has said that 90% of the thoughts that run through our minds are negative. You say, well, how can that be? Well, you wake up in the morning, and you start off by saying, oh man, I don't feel like going to work today. Oh man, there's nothing to eat for breakfast. Oh boy, look at all the traffic on the freeway. Man, the day is never going to get over. You see, these are negative thoughts. And someone has said again that over 90% of the thoughts in our minds are negative. And so if we're going to develop a positive image, we must push aside these negative images and start focusing on positive ones. Now, this self-image that I'm talking to you about is similar to a thermostat in a room. The thermostat sets the temperature, the standard for which you will function and operate, just like a thermostat in the room will determine the atmosphere, whether it's hot or cold. You see, you will never consistently rise higher than the image you have of yourself. So every day, I want you to close your eyes for a moment, and I want you to think about what you would like for your life. I do this every single morning. I close my eyes and I put positive images of what I want to accomplish that day. Sometimes I'll even dream ahead of where I want to see myself in a month, 2 months, in a year. And I close my eyes, and sometimes I can meditate and think about these images, positive images, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes. And before I know it, it makes me react a certain way. Most of the time it's positive. Sometimes it's scary because I'm going into the unknown. What I'm suggesting to you is, if you would close your eyes every day and focus on positive thoughts, you are literally changing the way your brain thinks, and you're focusing on positive things, and you're developing a positive image of yourself from the inside. So you have to start seeing yourself accomplishing more than what you can imagine. My father used to say, aim for the moon, you'll reach the stars. If you aim for the ceiling, you won't get off the floor. So I'm encouraging you, if you want to change the image that you have of yourself and develop a positive one, you must first see yourself doing more than you even imagine. And every day you've got to focus on eliminating those negative thoughts and putting those positive ones in its place. Now, I'd be lying if I told you that you never have a negative thought. That's not even possible. It's not even true. You're going to have negative thoughts. But the difference is, people who accomplish great things never dwell on their negative thoughts. They push them aside, redirect them, and move into other areas that are more positive and productive. So don't get discouraged if positive thoughts don't come naturally for you. You must learn to seek them out, develop them, and you can do this by learning to look for positives in every situation. It could be raining cats and dogs outside, but I can see a positive. At least we're going to have no more drought. We could have a lot of freeway traffic on the streets, but I can look and say, man, this gives me more time to think, more time to reflect about my day or what I'm going to do tomorrow. So you have to look for positive things in every negative situation. And if you can focus on those things, then what will happen, you will begin to develop a positivity around yourself. You see, all of our thoughts make us feel, particularly if they're negative, a certain way in our bodies. And how we think, we feel, then we act out in our interactions with other people. So if I think positive and I see myself as positive, then it's going to make me feel good, more energetic, more enthused, and then it's going to make me act out or interact with people in a more positive way, which is going to actually make me more productive. You see how that works? It starts in my mind. My mind reflects, my body then reflects what my mind says or thinks, and now my interactions reflect how I feel. I can literally change an environment by just thinking differently, which is going to make me feel differently, which is going to make me act differently. That's how we change and develop positive images. So what I'm saying to you is you need to see yourself as strong, healthy, and living a long, satisfied life. Don't see yourself as not going to be able to make it. Stop seeing yourself as a failure. Stop seeing yourself as someone who can't do anything. No, change the image and see yourself as positive, healthy, living a long, satisfied life. And so you change your image by how you see yourself on the inside. And I have a saying that goes like this: you will produce what you keep in front of you. What you keep on the walls of your mind, you will produce it. Actually, I can say it another way. What I see in my mind, I will move toward it. So what have you seen in your mind over the last 30 days? Has it been more positive or negative? If it's been negative, you're going to move toward that. If it's been positive, you're going to move toward that. And even the Bible says, as a man thinketh, so is he. So your thoughts can literally block, hinder your blessing and your progress. And so, if you focus on your problems or what you can't do, if you think you've already reached your limit, then what you are going to live with is mediocrity. And no one wants to be mediocre. So I want you to keep things in front of you that you want to see come to pass. Every day, you've got to see yourself growing, getting better, doing different things, stretching out outside of your limit, your comfort zone. You've got to see it. You must enlarge your vision. You must see bigger than what you are seeing now, and stop thinking negatively. Start thinking positively. And if you can do this consistently, you will change your image. I want to leave you with this. I'll tell you a story. It's a kind of a funny story, and I want to see if you will get it. An elephant comes into the room because he has an appointment to see Dr. Lake. And on the way in, he looks down and there's an ant right in his way. And he looks down at the ant and he says, "Mr. Ant, you're pretty small. Would you move over? I'm pretty big and I don't want to accidentally step on you." The ant looks up and says, "Why, Mr. Elephant, you're really big. You could step on me and not even feel it. But I'm not moving. Go around. Well, the elephant was kind of taken back. He says, well, Mr. Ant, I meant you no disrespect. I simply am too big to get into that door, and I cannot sidestep you unless you move over. I'm sorry if I came across rude, so could you please kindly move aside so I can come in? I have a very important appointment with Dr. Lake. The ant looks up at him and says, you know what? That sounds good, but I don't care. I'm not moving. Well, now the elephant gets mad. So he says, Mr. Ant, look here, dude. I'm going to step on you. I'm going to crush you like a grape. The ant looked up and said, no, you're not. The elephant said, well, why not? What's going to stop me? The ant said, I'm going to eat you first. You going to what? Yeah, you heard me, the ant said to the elephant. I'm going to eat you first. Well, how are you going to do that? The elephant said to the ant. Look at me. I'm big. Look at you. You're small. It's impossible. To which the ant replied, I'm going to do it one bite at a time. Did you get it? If you are overwhelmed, if you can't see beyond today, that means you're trying to eat too big of a piece of the elephant. You've got to do it one little bite at a time. Here's what comprises your bite. What can I do today to be better for myself? What can I do to better myself? Number 2, how can I grow in my relationship with God? And 3, what can I do to be a better working professional? Now, if you did those 3 things every day, you would change your image from the inside to the out. You would not get overwhelmed. You can see progress every day because you're going to focus on what you can do to be better, what you can do to grow in your relationship with God, and number 3, what you could do to be better at your job. Now, that's a pretty big mouthful. And I think if you can focus on those 3 things, wow, can you imagine what your life would be like at the end of a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? Just do it one bite at a time. Listen, I've enjoyed my time with you today. I hope you've enjoyed listening and viewing this broadcast. I want to invite you to tune back in next week, same time, for Positive Vibes with Dr. Ira Lake.